Gaming phones used to be a great value, with better cooling systems, faster displays, powerful speakers, dedicated accessories, and an overall better gaming experience than a regular flagship. But over time, flagships have gotten faster displays, better cooling, better gaming capabilities, and companies have made gaming accessories for regular phones. That's why gaming phones have tried to simplify themselves and attract regular users too. But are gaming phones worth it now? Whether for gamers or non-gamers. This video reviews the most popular and perhaps the best gaming phone of the year, the ROG Phone 9 Pro. So, let's the video. We no longer see crazy gaming lines, active cooling systems, and an unusual appearance in the design of ROGs. There are still symbols of gaming on the back panel, but you can definitely use it as a 40-year-old man. There are 640 small RGB LEDs on the back panel, which are completely customizable for any situation, and ASUS has also included a series of fun mini-games, which makes it cooler. But when they are turned off, they completely disappear and the phone's clean appearance is maintained. It is still heavier than a regular phone, but it has the material of a flagship. The front panel is Gorilla Glass Victus 2, the back panel is Gorilla Glass and matte, which also has an interesting texture, and the aluminum frame. It even has the IP68 standard, which means its cooling system is completely passive. There is no more front speaker and the display bezels have also been reduced. Overall, it's great news, but it may not be good news for gamers, as the possibility of accidental touches increases. And although the ROG Phone speaker is still one of the best, it doesn't provide the pleasure of the previous series. The ultrasonic triggers are still there, and are still the best in terms of accuracy, customization, and pressure detection. The additional USB-C port is also from previous generations and has not changed. It has a high data transfer speed of USB 3.1 and supports DisplayPort 1.4 at the same time. And no, if you connect two chargers to the phone, it will not charge faster. It also has 3.5mm audio jack, something rare as platinum now. The display is 1080p LTPO AMOLED with HDR10 support and 1 billion colors. It's a really good display, the colors are dynamic and the sharpness is quite decent. But in terms of quality, the flagships are noticeably better. Its brightness reaches 2500 nits in HDR content and you won't have any brightness problems in any light. But the important part is the refresh rate, which can reach 185 Hz. But there is one important point. At the refresh rate of 120, the display is dynamic and can reduce up to 10 Hz for optimal consumption. But at 165 and 185, this is not the case. And in addition to increasing your consumption, the phone heats up more, and to be honest, no game support this refresh rate. The fingerprint sensor is under the display and optical. It's good, but not as fast as ultrasonic and can't be used with wet hands. Its hardware is not much different from a flagship. The Snapdragon 8 Elite, which has made tremendous progress with its Oryon cores compared to the previous generation, is arguably the best phone chip available today. But the difference from flagships is its 16 or 24 GB of RAM. If you have experience using 12 GB of RAM on your phone, you know that 24 GB of RAM is not really noticeable at the moment. What is supposed to differentiate your experience with the flagship is its cooling system, which is 50% larger than its previous generation. But the 8 Elite is a hotter chip than the 8 Gen 3. The overall result is that after about 40 minutes of heavy use, you can feel the heat. But the chip is so strong that the performance drop is not noticeable. If you give the phone a 2-minute rest between each match, the heat will be released sufficiently. I suggest enabling X mode in the game, because its function is not just a momentary increase in speed, but optimization for longer performance. If you spend $50 more or buy the Pro Edition, You also get the X Pro's separate cooling fan, which has a larger cool pad than the previous generation. The plastic material is a good choice for this device, but it also scratches. There are also 2 additional triggers, and by connecting it, X-Mode Plus is activated, which gives a bit better performance. It can be said that by connecting the cooler, there is no longer any concern about performance loss. Despite all this, the flagships have the same chip and power. Their passive cooling is now large enough, and the difference in the performance loss may be noticeable in long-term use. I really haven't heard of a gamer being dissatisfied with the performance of their flagship recently. A cooling fan and a mouse and keyboard dock can be also purchased for the flagship, but in my opinion, its main advantage in the hardware section is more compatible and high-quality accessories with additional port to connect them. The ROG Phone 9 Pro comes with Android 15, but only get updates for 2 years, which is honestly a bummer. A $1,300 phone gets only 2 Androids, when at least 5 years of updates are the norm. The software itself doesn't have as much AI and customization capabilities as the Pixel, Galaxy, and iPhone. It's close to a stock Android with some cool gaming features. Game Gen I is nothing we don't see on other phones, but it has some extras for things like aiming and sound. In Armoury Crate, you can completely change the performance of the CPU and GPU. But please don't. The battery is as always larger than other flagships, 5800 mAh. In practice, it is also better than other flagships, but in 120Hz mode, it is weaker at higher refresh rates. The charger that is included in the box is 65 watts, and it takes about 45 minutes to fully charge. The main camera is 50 megapixels and equipped with 6-axis gimbal stabilization. The ultra-wide camera is 13 megapixels, and the 3x telephoto camera and selfie camera are 32 megapixels. First of all, the camera system is good, but as good as the Galaxy A55. The photos in daylight have good detail, are not without noise, the dynamic range is decent, and the colors are close to reality. The 50 megapixel photos are simply larger, and their detail is not worth the noise and poor dynamic range. The portrait photos are really good, both the background blur and the exposure, but the face processing is not great. In night mode, the detail is very good. There is not much noise, the dynamic range is good, but I think the colors and exposure are not very natural. The ultra-wide photos have colors close to the main lens, the dynamic range is average, and the photos are a bit soft, and there is no autofocus. The colors of the telephoto camera are also on par with the main lens, but it still has the problem of being soft. However, the detail and dynamic range are really good. Selfies are great, both in terms of face processing and color, and most importantly, dynamic range. The ROG Phone 9 Pro is capable of 4K 120fps and 8K 30fps video recording. But apart from the stabilizer, it is completely behind the flagships. To sum up, if you care about the special design, accessories, and battery, the ROG Phone 9 Pro could be worth buying, considering that it's a good phone overall. But if this really don't matter much to you, you are not going to lose any special hardware or much performance by buying a flagship. Until 2 or 3 years ago, when phone hardware wasn't that powerful and flagships had performance issues, gaming phones were really valuable. But now at $1,300, I can't even recommend it to every gamer. If you really want a ROG level gaming phone, the ROG Phone 9 is $200 cheaper. Just has a slightly simpler design and has a macro instead of a telephoto. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, like it, and if you like my content, subscribe to my channel. Goodbye, see you next video.